All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful that got there pushing His word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. Okay? And just doing the in transit, rolling in the spirit. And I want to go into a lesson, dealing with we coming into some different times. All right, we're coming into, a different time as it pertains into, new normals that's coming to the earth. Okay, based on prophecy. All right, and what we see, this guy Donald Trump, all right, aka Nero, all right, he's moving as a dictator. Okay, so the things that former presidents were restricted to do, well, this devil has been given the green light by the higher ups, all right, to move in a particular way, okay, to bring about, the new world order. These devils are going for it. It's been a long time coming. They've been planning. They've been, doing decades of psyops and, putting enchantments on people. Okay? They've corrupted, the governments of the earth. Okay? They dumped down the masses, especially here in America. Okay? And now they're homing in on their new world order. And they know, all right, well, we have to understand, okay, within their new world order framework, there can't be a strong America, all right? They don't want America, all right, to exist as it does right now, okay? The liberty and the freedoms and, the amendments and all these different things, that make up, the American Constitution. Well, free speech, the right to bear arms. They want to get rid of all that, okay? And they're going to do some very drastic, moves, all right, to bring that about, okay? And see, we're coming into a heavy demonic time, demonic time of the year, during these wicked holidays, okay? But on the counter, you see how the Lord has us countering, these wicked holidays with high holy days in the spirit. Brothers, are tapping more into the high holy days and, giving them reverence. We do what we can. We're rehearsing the righteous acts. Okay? Brothers are tapping in more into the Sabbath service. Brothers are, tapping into, the new moon and, just reverencing as much as we can. And, it's putting the spirit out there, man. It's putting the spirit on us, man. Because as we mature in the faith, man, we begin to rehearse more and more of the righteous acts. And it's a righteous ritual. You go into the Bible and our customs, it's a righteous ritual, man. It puts a spirit, a good spirit on us, man. Spirit of confidence, because we coming into, all right, the worst time ever. This devil, all right, attempting to bring on this new world order is going to lead into the worst time ever. Okay? Because remember, this devil is pissed. All right? And the Lord is using the devil to judge. Okay? On the left hand side. Okay? So Esau's we finna see Esau take a more aggressive, all right, tone, okay, with how he governs the earth. You see that time for being politically correct, okay, and being bound by, this law and this amendment and this right and that right. See, that's going out the window. Because, see, everything is at stake for Esau, okay? So I say you have to expect, this devil, to get more desperate. If someone's desperate and dangerous, man, okay? The scriptures talk about what in the last days there should be peril times, and peril goes into dangerous, man. Okay? So we're finna see Esau spaz out to try to hold on to his kingdom and try to forward, his kingdom, his power on the earth through left hand, all right, means. Okay? So we're coming into a different time because in order for this devil to attempt to bring on this new world order, okay, well, things have to go into another phase. Okay? Things have to go into another phase. So we're going to see different times coming soon, man. Like after the Day of Atonement, you can just feel there's a different spirit in the earth, because we here. You see, this devil, he has to go with his move. He can't keep kicking the can down the road. Because he feels the pressure, because he knows that there's a spirit of righteousness that's being aroused in the earth, man, through Yahweh Bashim al-Shai, through the prophets preaching his word. Okay? And then even, on the carnal level, you have people rising up against this man and what he's trying to do. He's been called out. He's lost control of the narrative. So this devil, in the attempt to establish a new world order, is about, all right, the Lord's about to allow him, all right, to bring some new norms to the earth, man. Okay, especially here in America, man. Prepare, for, civil unrest, for more, all right, militarized policing in the country. Okay, prepare for, certain right-wing groups to get emboldened, pick up arms. Okay, inspect, the neighborhoods. Okay, and communities. Okay, to be at war with one another, man. It's finna go down. That's why Yahweh Shai said when you come back to the astonishment, okay, one person against another, okay, one nation against another, one realm against another. So it's gonna be on every level. There's gonna be, all right, unrest, civil unrest on every level, man. So this thing is about to get way more violent, and people are finna click up. Certain cliques that's been in the woodworks, all right, militant, groups that's been in the woodworks, expect them to pop up. Okay, mercenaries are already in place. UN troops are already in place. They're pushing the civil war in America, man. A lot to prepare for the, the military. Okay, to a lot of military personnel. All right, to team up with the civilians. Okay, all these things it's going to be new normals in the earth. Okay, and we have to be ready, all right, to change. Okay, and make that adjustment on how we need to move. Okay, because these everyday convenience and just the liberty to just float around and go shopping and doing this and doing that. See, that's finna change. Okay? We coming into a time where it ain't gonna be a lot of movement like that. Okay? Because a lot of people, they're gonna shelter in place. They're gonna voluntarily shelter in place because of how bad it's finna get. Okay? So we have to understand, all right? New normals calls for these new norms that we're finna see. The violence, okay, the increased violence, okay, the increased, okay, division, okay, prepare for, to be uncomfortable going through these changes, man, but it's all for the kingdom, because we're going to be in the midst of it, all right, and this is where the Lord is going to be proving, his chosen. You see, we're going through a time to where we're finna be proven, man. Okay? So we have to remain faithful in the midst of all this, man, knowing that we good. Okay? Because now we're finna be tested. Now we're coming to an hour of temptation. Okay? Prepare for, for them to go with the digital ID, okay, which is another step closer to the seal. You know, prepare, you know, to have these things launched, okay? Prepare for the government, I say, just to be more aggressive, all right? Hey, Trump is telling people, look, we'll deal with the laws later on. You know, Trump is in the spirit of, he's doing what needs to be done, which is the bidding of the elites, okay? And the elites are above the law, okay? And they're giving Trump, okay, immunity when it comes to these certain laws, you know? Because people can cry about, oh, that's unlawful what he's doing, but what you gonna do about it? That's the spirit Esau in. Okay, it's unlawful what I'm doing. What you gonna do about it? Okay, now we finna see this devil, you know, show his horns more and just be more blatant. Because in his mind, like, look, y'all can't do nothing with me. You know, he has so much, you know, technology and weaponry. He controls the finances, and you know, the masses depend on this grid. Okay, prepare for more, you know, data centers just pop up. Okay, here it is. You got this government shutdown. Okay, what people are crying about, you know, the government has money for this and money for that. Well, he got money for his interest. He saw money for his New World Order. Okay, that's why he invests in military. That's why he invests in, you know, more ICE agents. Okay, that's why he's investing in data centers. Okay, day one, what did Trump do? Sign off on $500 billion. Okay, for AI infrastructure. Okay, Esau is putting his money into his New World Order. The scripture say where your treasure is, that's where your heart will be also. And this man treasures, all right, his New World Order because it puts him a step closer to attempting to be the Most High. Okay, he wants to be omnipotent, omnipresent. He thinks that he has. Okay, he thinks he's on to something with his AI. Okay, so that's what he's going to be investing in. Okay, he's not investing in people. He invests more in his technology than people. Okay, so he doesn't give a damn about the economy already trash and people catching hell. He doesn't care about them not being paid. Here it is. This is the government. How tacky is this? For this supposed to be the number one government and talk about how inhumane everyone else is. Okay, this leader is inhumane. He needs to be removed. Here it is. They go replace and do coups and, you know, cause civil unrest in all these countries to get regime change. But here it is. You can't even pay. Here it is, the richest country in the world. You're putting sanctions on every goddamn body. Okay, 24,000 sanctions that they put on Russia. So here it is. You doing all this, but you can't. The American government can't pay its employees. How tacky is that? Okay, how tacky is this, man? And this man is going down in a very tacky fashion, man. This man ain't fit the rule of being charged of any goddamn thing, man. You know? But that's a goddamn shame. But this is the scripture say, you know, Trump is that cruel Lord. You know, there's no doubt that Trump is that cruel Lord. He's, through him, all right, the elites are going to use him for cruelty, all right, to the citizens, man, especially the tribes. And that's why we tell you tribes, man, you sit here playing these games, you have to eat, you know, crying about what's going on in Chicago, okay, about, you know, they're just running in and they have, well, guess what? The Lord, when you read Ezekiel 9, okay, the Lord told the angels to spare not, neither have pity. So the Lord got a spirit on Esau, because Esau already don't give a damn. So it's just an extra spirit of him not giving a damn. Okay? The Lord got the spirit on Esau not to have any pity. Okay? We have to, understand that. You see? So the Lord is working through Esau, okay, to judge, man. Before Esau was judged. You see? And we constantly telling you Israelites, okay, to repent, man, come back to your power. Because anything else, okay, because it's to the point now, if you ain't talking about Yahushua, you ain't talking about shit. If you ain't talking about Yahushua and what he's going to do when he returns, okay, you ain't on to nothing. Okay, you take your ass out there cornerly and try to deal with Esau, man. You out of there. Okay, you gonna be short work. Okay, you just gonna be yesterday's news. All right, ain't no way to deal with this man other than being in good standings with Yahweh by Shema Al-Shai. Nothing else is finna matter. See, that's why we got to emphasize on being in good standings with our power. Okay, because that's the only thing, okay, that's gonna matter in the times that we got, in the times that we coming into. Okay, none of that other shit is gonna matter. You see, everything that our people is doing, and like I say, what can Jake do? Get cornered and go get obliterated? What Jake do? Go try to build black businesses? That shit it fails. It's all within his system. He can pull the plug on it when he feels like it. So you can't escape this economically. You can't escape this politically. It doesn't matter who's in the White House, who got control of the Congress, the Democrats or Republicans. None of that shit matters. Okay? And even if you Jakes just try to do your own thing and, Esau just terrorize you, man. The problem is this nigga's in power. Okay? And we're telling you about your power that's coming to take this man down. Yahushua is coming to deal with the problem of the earth, which is Esau. Isaiah 63:1. Who is this with dyed garments? All right? A Basra, coming from Edom. That's speaking of Yahushua. And who is Edom? So-called white man that, and these are beginning with their elites that run the earth, but that's who Yahushua is coming to address with war. You see, this man has to be taken down. Okay, and people are going to see more and more why we've been calling this man the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Why the ministry, all right, within the ministry, there's a heavy emphasis on Esau Edom, man. Okay, a lot of you people going to find out the hard way why we've been calling this man the devil all this time, man. Okay? Yeah, you finna find out the hard way, man. Okay? So, yeah, we coming into a time of new norms. Okay? Things are gonna change, man. We're finna get deeper into this transition into the kingdom. Okay? So I say the things that we've gotten used to, man, have a mind that, okay, this thing is going to another phase, and be ready to make the adjustments needed as believers, man. And we're gonna be guided through the Spirit. We got the ministry starting with the leadership of the apostles and elders, man. We got wise counsel, man. All the brothers, a lot of men, it's a lot of mature. There's a lot of men that's matured in the Spirit, man, for these times, because we're gonna need wise counsel, man. So when you got all these brothers that's been in 15 years plus, man. Okay? They've been gaining maturity, all right, to lead in these times, man. Okay? As we know that things are finna change. You see? So, yeah, we have some beautiful times, all right, to see this man go down, all right, and we understand that the transition is going to be a rough transition. Okay? But the comfort we have is that our power is we're not going through this naked, man. No. Psalms 46:1, the Lord is a very present help in time of trouble. Okay? So our power is going to be active. And the closer things get to us, harm and danger get to us, the more active the Lord will get. So the devil, has in his mind, he going to go with his move. Okay? Well, guess what? The Lord going to go with his move too. Okay? He's going to counter what this devil got going on the right. On the left. He's going to counter it on the right. And that's our hope and that's our comfort, man. So I just wanted to go into that. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. Give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Gakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to our younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful. Shalom.